Hi everyone! I'm here today to do the social media book tag. And I'm sitting here with this giant pile of books next to me, if you can see them all. I wasn't tagged by anybody, but I really wanted to do this because it seemed super fun. So for the first tag, you have Twitter, which says, "What is your favorite shortest book?" For me, that definitely has to be The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. It's just so good. I can't even stress this enough. If you weren't made to read this in school, go out and pick it up. It's about this group of boys who are involved in a little gang situation in a low-income neighborhood, and it's about their journey together. And you probably heard, if you heard anything about this, the main character gets referred to as Pony Boy, which might deter you because it sounds a little weird, but I can't even tell you how good this is. And I am sorry for my battered copy, but I bought this at a yard sale because I had never read it and people kept telling me to read it. And I'm just so glad that I picked this up. I mean, it's great. And clearly someone else loved this book just as much as I do because it's super read. Next tag is Facebook, which is the book that everybody pressured you to read. And I know this isn't the usual story for how people read this book, but for me, that's definitely Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. This one's also very obviously beat up. And that's because this is my friend Claire's book that she gave me because she pressured me for months and months and months and months to read this book. My friends know that I absolutely love classic novels and that I'm a huge sucker for romantic movies, either good romantic movies or terrible ones. And so this got forced on me by people who loved it, and I love it. So much. It's so good. It's one of the classic love stories that just lets you understand so many other stories. It's like reading Shakespeare. Once you read something that's just founded so many other things, and suddenly you get all these references people have made your whole life. Alright, moving on. The next tag is Tumblr, and that is supposed to be a book that you read before it's cool. And for me, that is If I Stay by Gale Forman. And this book recently just came out as a movie that I have mixed feelings about. I haven't gone to see it yet, but the trailer seemed to way hype up parts of this book that aren't really what it's about. This book has a romance in it, but it's definitely not just a romance story. There's a lot more to it here, and I know the movie did pretty well, but I read this book 6 years ago, and it was just this little tiny book, another contender for shortest book that you love. Look at that, it's really thin. And I just absolutely loved it. I told people to read this for a really long time, and I'd almost completely forgotten about it being on the mainstream book radar till I decided to make a book of it, and it's wonderful. It's about this girl who's named Mia, whose family gets into a car accident, and they all die but her. And it's about her choice if she wants to stay, if I stay, on Earth and keep living her life, or whether she wants to go with her family. And I know there's sequels, and I haven't actually read the sequels, and I really want to because I love this book. And then the next tag was Instagram, which is a book that is so pretty you just had to Instagram it. I had a lot of different choices for this one, and I couldn't narrow it down, so I picked two. But the first one is definitely Why We Broke Up by Daniel Handler. And if you didn't know, Daniel Handler is the actual adult author's pen name for the man who's Lemony Snicket, who wrote the series of Unfortunate Events. And if you look inside this book, there's all these beautiful hand-painted illustrations by the illustrator. It's just so gorgeous, and the paintings just add something to the story that was not there before. And because I have to show you this, just look at this gorgeous book when you take the dust jacket off. I almost honestly like it better without the dust jacket. It's just so beautiful. And then my other book for So Beautiful That You Had to Instagram it, favorite book of all time, Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby. And there are so many beautiful editions of this book that have been printed. It's just one of those books that lends itself to beautiful artistic covers. And I own 4 or 5 of them, but this is the one I bought myself, and I totally bought it because it's just so beautiful. And it's this copy of The Great Gatsby that has Zelda Fitzgerald as a picture on it, and it's just so beautiful, so totally flapper. Absolutely love this edition. There's a Penguin Classics hardback edition that I really, really love, the Art Deco gold foil edition that Books and Quills has, and I would love to get that at some point, but unfortunately I'm not made of money, so I had to settle for a paperback version. And the next category is MySpace, which is a book that you read so long ago that you don't remember if you liked it or not, and that definitely has to be This Lullaby by Sarah Dessen. And this one is my sister's absolute favorite Sarah Dessen book. I think this is actually her copy that she gave to me. And I know that I've read it, but I don't even really remember what this is about. The description on the back says, Remy always knew when to give guys a speech right after the initial romantic rush, before anything gets too serious. So why is it that Remy can't seem to dump Dexter? So those are two characters who I don't remember. Their names just don't stick in my mind. So next summer I might, instead of buying a new one, pick this one up for a reread because clearly I know nothing. The next category is YouTube, or a book that you wish that they would make into a movie. So I picked The Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Lani Taylor. The reason that I picked this book is that it's just incredibly well written and in a totally imaginative storyline. And this world is so rich and so beautiful, and there are these creatures called the chimeras, which are part human, part animal, and then there's angels that are called the Seprum. It's really hard for me to pronounce words sometimes, and they're locked into this forever battle, but the main character is a girl named Karou who has blue hair, who works for the Chimera and lives on Earth. And that's all I can really give you before you read this book without giving away spoilers. But it is just so great, and I think they could do so many visual effects with the Chimera and the angels, and it would just be an absolutely beautiful movie. And the last category is Goodreads, which is a book that you would recommend to everyone. Unfortunately, I don't have my copy of the book that I chose because I think I recommended it to someone and gave it to someone, and they didn't give it back, which says something about how good it is, and that is I Am Legend by Robert Matheson. You've probably either heard of or seen the movie, but I cannot stress enough how different the movie is from the book. It's still good, but I just think the book is so great, and I read it when I was in, so it's a dystopian type novel, and I read it before dystopian novels were really the it thing. And I just loved it. It blew my mind because you think you have a whole story figured out until the last line, and then it just makes you reevaluate everything. It just will make you reevaluate everything you've ever thought about Prejudice, dystopian novels, apocalypses. Just so good. Cannot recommend it enough. So that's it for this tag. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe down in the doobly-doo. And this is probably going to be my first video on YouTube, so I hope some people watch it. This might be my only video I put up on YouTube, or it just might be the first of many. But I'm off to go edit this now. Bye!